cursed be the ground for our sake. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for us. For out of the ground we were taken for the dust that we are, and to the dust we shall return. The From the Dust podcast features people who have had life-changing experiences. Here they share their stories and testimonials about how God can move and change a person's life. Welcome to the From the Dust podcast. Take a listen. Open your hearts and ears. Here's your host, James Science.
Hello, and welcome.
How's it going, man?
To From the Dust podcast. I'm your host, James Science. Whatever you are and whatever you're doing, hope you're highly favored and highly blessed. If it's your first time here, we want to welcome you. If you're back, thanks again for listening. If you have a story or testimony you would like to share, go and hit me. But From the Dust podcast at outlook.com. That's From the Dust podcast at outlook.com. Stories need to be told and voices need to be heard. Well, today, my guest comes from the former occult and a former member of the notorious gang Latin Kings, and he's here to share his story and testimony, what God's brought him through. And as I've heard him as a guest on another podcast, and I had to have him come on this show and share with you, my listeners, my viewers, his story, and hope we can get some out of it and be blessed by it. Let's go ahead and welcome Fabian Soton. How are you, brother?
How's it going, man?
I'm good, blessed. Blessed to be able to do this again another time. Just give all the praises to the Lord. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. I mean, happy to be here, man.
Yeah, I like I was sharing. I heard your story on a fellow podcaster that I follow. We follow each other, and I knew that you had to be part of this. I knew that your story was going to reach many people that do listen to my side of the show.
Cool, man.
So, man, let's just go ahead and get right into it. Jump into it. Where did you grow up? Where are you from?
I was born in California, but my mom took me when I was 3 years old to Colombia. So, I was born here, but lived my entire life in Colombia. So you got to help me with my English.
Oh, man, no problem. Colombia, how was that growing up as a kid in Colombia?
I mean, I love it. I mean, I love my country. I love it, fun. I mean, you love your own country. So I have good memories, love it. Good experiences, bad experiences, but I love it. I love it, man.
What was it, as a kid, what was it, the atmosphere like growing up around there?
Well, I lived during the hard times of Pablo Escobar with all the bombs around the city, but I was still a kid. I didn't have much knowledge, but I lived that, hey, you can go out because, the mafia is outside. You can go out because we heard shots outside. So I kind of lived that era of Pablo Escobar. So it was kind of like crazy when it comes to that.
You weren't really around there. You heard about him, right?
I mean, yeah, because it was everywhere. The mafia was everywhere. After Pablo Escobar, the mafia focused on my city. So I was 12 years old and it was killing everywhere, man. You can go outside and you will see a shooting or you will see a dead body. So it was kind of crazy time during my life in Colombia.
Yeah, I'm into a lot of documentaries, and there was a time where I was into all that Escobar and cartel stuff, and I'm just not a nosy person, but I'm very intrigued by people's stories, so once something catches my eye, I learn about that person, just see what kind of good or bad person they were. When did you return to United States?
Well, I came when I was 16 years old by myself. The reason why I came here is because I was already a drug addict. I was given hard times in my family. I was an alcoholic at 13 years old. I was an alcoholic already. Pretty much, even though I had a house, I was pretty much living on the streets because I hated God. During that time, I was eating trash pretty much, not because I didn't have a home, just because the devil is dirty. So it had me eating trash, literally trash, an alcoholic doing bad things in Colombia. So my mom decided to send me to America when I was 16 years old because it was the better option, which it wasn't. He got worse. But yeah, I was 16 years old when I got here.
Where at in the United States did you grow up?
In Colombia, in Cali.
In California. Oh,
Cali, Colombia.
Cali, Colombia. But when you came from Colombia and you came to the United States.
Oh, I came to Miami. I went straight up to Miami because we have friends of the family So they received me at their apartment, but I was a troublemaker, so I only last there for about 2 weeks, and then they happily told me to move out. So I had to move out. I was 16 years old, didn't know English, no English, and pretty much found myself in front of a new country, new culture, with no language, no English. So it was kind of like hard,
Yeah, I
you
can
know.
imagine.
Yeah.
And being there, what were your influences that shifted you into the life that you lived?
What?
They influenced like the streets and stuff. What influenced your street life? And you said we mentioned that you were a member of the occult. What was that like?
Yeah, that was when I was 13 years old. That was back in Colombia. When I came to America, I was already practicing occultism. The reason why I packed with the devil is because something happened in my family. Nobody explained me, that life is life. People die, people lose their jobs. It's part of what we live. It's living. When I was 13 years old, when I was 12 years old, my grandma dies. My mom loses her job. We have a good house. Now we don't have a good house. My mom served the Lord. My mom was a Christian. She's a Christian, but at the time she was a Christian. She was serving the Lord in the local church. I was passionate by the Lord. I was serving in the youth ministry, even though I was like 11, 12 years old. I was kind of like, sneaking into the youth ministry, and they will help me kind of like serve, And when my grandma died, when my mom lost her job, nobody told me that's life. So I kind of like asked the question, why if we serve the Lord? Why if my mom is Christian? Why if I'm Christian? Why God is allowing to my grandma, lose her life? Why you allowing my mom to, not have food in our house? We used to eat bread for the whole day, just one piece of bread because we didn't have money. So nobody told, everybody thought, oh, he's 12 years old. He don't need to have those answers, And because nobody told me, nobody gave me an answer, I decided to hate God. In the same block where I live, it was a priest of occultism, one guy who was really, really deep. Spiritual life, it's insane. But somehow this guy knew the situation I was living and started giving me black music, pink rock, black metal, pink metal, like really bad, deep music. And one day I was listening to music and I decided to pact with the devil. I put my flesh, I do marks, the cross upside down. I put some letters on my arm. I didn't know what I was doing. All I know is I was pacting with Satan, and I gave my life to Satan that night. After I did that, the guy find out that I did that, and he started walking me through occultism. But that's how it happens.
What is it occult? What kind of effect does it have on a person and their lifestyle and mind? What does that do to them?
Well, there's this different way of religions of believing on the dark side. You have satanics, you have santeros, you have brujos, you have occultists, which is me. We do practice the occult part of not magic, but we can say power or tricks of the dark side. We are the ones, in a sense of take our spirit out of our body and have different experience. We were able to see through mirrors. Okay, we got paid not as santeros, but we got paid to do how you say curses to people, to churches, to group of people, to a company, because people pay us to do that. So that's what I was doing when I became an occultist, and I was 13 years only. So I was really, really young when I was doing that.
What and you were you involved in drugs at any point in your life?
Yeah, of course. When I was 13 years old, I started using drugs, any kind of drugs. I was doing bazuco, which is one of the hottest drug in Colombia, with is rock cocaine with ice. Then you put rock, like a piece of rock, you smash it and you put in that, and then you smoke that. I was doing that kind of drugs, marijuana, cocaine. Luckily, and I actually, thank God, I never do heroin, which I'm very, very thankful, because I don't know how hard it is to get out of that. But any other kind of drug I was doing, alcoholic, 13, 14 years old, I was already an alcoholic. So yeah, I was doing drugs.
And you kind of got involved with the neighborhood gang at the time. What was that like?
No, I was. I mean, I started. I joined the Latin Kings when I was 18, 19 years old. The reason why, because after I wasn't traveled in Colombia and I was a trouble kid. My mom decided to take me to America. I came to Miami. I was 16 years old. My mom came a year after, lived with me in Miami. We didn't have much luck in Miami. Then we moved to Georgia. Now you have to. What happened is I'm new in the country. I don't know any English at all. I don't have a way to talk to people, relate to people. I used to skateboard. I was really good at the time. So the only passion that I had was skateboarding, and I wasn't able to talk to new friends. It's kind of boring skating by yourself. When I moved with my mom, there was a group of kids from the same country, Colombia, speak Spanish, but they were a clique of the Latin Kings. At the beginning, they were different clique. They weren't associated with Latin Kings, but we got deeper and deeper, and we ended up with the Latin Kings. And the only reason I become a Latin King is because I didn't know English. How crazy is that? It was really dumb. But that's how I joined the Latin Kings.
Yeah, that's the only group that you could relate to, and that's what you were drawn to.
Yeah, because many times it's not that you're a bad person, even though I was a bad person, even though I was a bad kid, I wasn't looking to get into the gangs. It just that, I mean, no English, you don't know anybody, you can communicate, and you see people that are from your same country. You get to know more people, and what they do is smoke weed, doing drugs, sell drugs, and they're in gangs. I'm like, yeah, why not? I was already deep in drugs when I was in Colombia. Why not here? I hated God. Why not?
Now, did that change you? Because did you cause it? Well, you're pretty much a good kid, but besides the drug use, but did that propel you into a lifestyle of crime or anything?
Yeah, of course. I mean, in Colombia, I was doing bad things already. Being practicing occultism is not something that you just do black. I mean, we don't even do black magic. It's a different kind of power. But being in Colombia doing occultism, I mean, like I said, I was pretty much living in the streets. Even though I had a house, that's where the devil took me. Living on the streets, you do bad things. You have friends dying on your arms. You got bad experiences. So I leave the streets in Colombia, which is really, really deep. When I came here to America and I leave the streets in America, to me was a piece of cake. To me was like, what? This is not even the streets to me. To me it was a game. I mean, if you see South America gangs or South America streets, they're bad. I'm not saying Americans are not bad, but to me it was easier. So when I started being with the Latin Kings, okay, we steal cars, of course. We sell a ton of drugs, of course. Yeah, any kind of bad things, yeah, with the Kings.
What were some of your worst experiences that led you to a point where you knew that you had to change at some point? Some of the things that started, this is not good. This is bad for me. I need to start doing some good changes.
I mean, I knew the Lord to start. I become an occultist and stuff like that, but I knew the Lord when I was a kid. You get tired. I mean, after you do drugs, when you start thinking and see your surroundings, see your friends dying, see your friends getting shot, seeing no future. One time, we were trying to get a corner from the Mara Salvatrucha in Taco Town. That was in Georgia, in downtown Atlanta. We were trying to get a place, a corner, which generates a lot of money. That day, I remember we were talking to our friends, but we weren't much people because we were a clique from the Kings. Cliques are different, and we have some amount of, people.
Yeah.
So I remember that day, we were thinking to get that corner, but realistically, we knew we were going to die. We were being dumb, stupid, crazy, and we were sitting down talking about it. We're like, let's get it, dude. And I was like, we were like, man, there are more. Who cares, man? Let's die. We were stupid. So that night, I remember I decided to go to take the corner. So that night, I was like, man, what am I doing? What the heck? I have an argument with one of the guys. So I got out of the apartment where we were. I was in the corner of the apartment, like in the back, there was a balcony. I was right outside, went around dark. And I started thinking, what am I doing? Fabian, what are you doing? And when I started talking to me, I started talking to God. Because it was crazy. I mean, you start thinking and you start asking yourself, what are you doing, Fabian? What is going on with your life? God, what am I doing? So, starting talking to me, then I put my attention on my conversation to God. And I was like, man, what am I doing? And I have like a private conversation with God. And I remember that day I got so mad. I took my gun out. I started shooting at the air. Bam, bam, bam. I hate you, God. I hate you. And then when I was saying, I hate you, I heard the voice of God in my heart so clearly. I'm not saying, boom, the voice of God and, a thunder told me this. No, I heard it in my heart. When I was saying, I hate you, and I started shooting, I heard, but I love you. Man, that kills me. Because I was telling him how much I hate him. I mean, I joined occultism. I was doing drugs. I was doing, alcoholic. I was doing bad things. I was throwing people. I was shooting people. I didn't care about anything. If you cross to me on the streets and you bump me and I didn't like you, I would take my gun and shoot you in the knee. I was that kind of person who didn't care. And everything that I did is because when I was a child, my grandma died. My mom lost her job, and that's why I decided to hate God. So I started doing things that I knew or I thought it will hurt God, So when I was telling God, I hate you, and he told me, I love you, I started crying on my knees, running the streets. That changed me. Dude, that changed me. That was the time of my life where everything changes.
And did you give everything up at that time?
No, I didn't. What happened that day is I remember my guys coming out from the balcony, like, oh, you're gay, you're crying. I was like, man, shut up. I still being a gang member, I mean, I have an experience with God, but still a gang member, still bad. I mean, all the demons and stuff that's still on me. But I remember I went to my mom. I was like, Mom, you know what? Let's go to church. Why not? Now, I had a really bad relationship with my mom all the time. I throw beers to her, I curse her. I mean, I put drugs inside the house, guns inside the house. So you can imagine how a mother will, be hurt by the only son, being like that. So my mom was like, yeah, sure, son, let's go to church. And I went to church the same night that we were going to do the drive-by to the Mara Salvatrucha and try to get that corner. I was telling God, okay, I'm gonna go to church. But if you don't talk to me, straight up to me, like, if you don't talk to me, I don't care. I will go that mission. I will die in that mission. And I told God, it's not that you're gonna, the preacher is gonna be a good message and it will touch my heart. Or it's not that like the worship is gonna be good and then it's gonna touch my heart. No, you gotta talk to me. You have to talk to me. If you don't talk to me, I'm out. So that was what I told God, when I got there. So the worship was cool, Spanish worship. My mom was watching me. My mom was worshiping and watching me, like making sure that I give my life to Jesus. So I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. I had guns with me. I mean, wow. Now you can, I mean, back in the days, 2000, what was it, 3 or 4? Gang members dress totally different than now. Way different. Well, some still the same, but big shirts, double XL, like super long shirts, baggy pants, I had my grills, black and yellow, my big hat, of course, somewhat tattoos, and 2 guns with me. So when you see a guy coming at church like that, nobody will sit around with you. Nobody. And of course, everybody knew that I was a gang member because the way I looked, So people was watching me. My mom was worshiping, but watching me at the same time. So it was kind of funny. The preacher started, preaching, the speaker started preaching. And he started talking about messages behind the music. Because I was an occultist, I knew how to do that, and I practiced that. We have rituals where we put messages behind music. So when the guy was talking about it, I was like, I know that. I know what he's talking about. I've been there. I probably know more than this guy. This guy's dumb. This guy's stupid. And I'll start cursing the preacher in the middle of the service. So that was a crazy service because you got a gang member. Everybody's like afraid. I start cursing the guy. I mean, I didn't scream, hey, no. But I was like, Mom, this guy is dumb. This is stupid. But I was using stronger language, even the how you say, the server, the diacon, the server from the church,
Yeah,
is like, shh, you can say that. No, you can say that, kid. Or sir, you can say that. I was like, sir, man, I'm 22 years old. What are you talking about? Then when everything finishes, he starts saying, who want to receive the Lord, come to the front. Everybody come to the front. Not me. I was with my mom. My mom like, hey, you want to go, Fabian? I say, nah, that's not for me. Good worship, the guy, pray for everybody. A lot of people receive Jesus. And then this what happened. I told God, you have to talk to me. If you don't talk to me, that's it. So at the end of the service, the guy was about to finish and he's like, hold up. Whoever wants to go back to the hands of Jesus, come to the front. That was it. Because I wanted to go back because I was tired. It's not that I was afraid of dying. I mean, I wanted to die that night. I wanted to go to do the mission and kill myself. That's what I wanted to do. But I was tired of all the things, all the experiences that I have. When he said that, I blacked out for about 2 minutes. I don't remember what happened. If you ask me, you have to ask my mom what happened with me, because I blacked out. And my mom tells me the preacher start asking whoever wants to come back to the arms of Jesus, whoever wants to come back to the arms of Jesus. Nobody came back. Nobody went to the front. No one. After 2 minutes, I got back, I kind of like got back crying. I don't remember what I was crying, but I was crying. And I was like, here's to my 2 guns, Mom. I get my 2 guns, put it on the chair, and went to the front. And that's how I got back. Or that's how Jesus got me back with him. That was the experience I got. Of course, it was a crazy deliverance on that night. It was a crazy time for people to be praying because, of course, I was an occultist, all the demons and stuff like that. And when we finished, the helpers of the church, they gave me my guns back. Like, here you go, you guns. I was like, I don't need it anymore. No. But that's how I got back to God.
Now, from those hard days and now, what are you able to do with your life, and what have you done to prepare yourself and to help others? Because I'm sure you speak to other people. I'm sure God uses you in a powerful way. What is that like?
Well, when God found me, I went to that church. It wasn't my mom's church. They were giving services, evangelic services, So I started going to that church. I got tired to that church. For some reason, I started going to my mom's church. When I got there, I started serving with the youth after 2 years. It wasn't, let's go, because I was learning. And you're not gonna trust a guy who come from occultism and gangs to be with the youth. You have to start your process. I started working with the youth there, but I felt a strong calling in my life. So from Georgia, I moved to Dallas to CFNI, Christ for the Nation Institute. I studied there theology for 2 years. And after 2 years, the director of the Spanish school got me under his leadership. And I was guy with him for 4 years. For 2 years, I was, on those 4 years, I was able to be a coordinator for YFN, Youth for the Nations, Spanish Youth for the Nations. That's the biggest camp of youth, Hispanic youth in America. We host about 1,200 kids on a week. Spanish YFN, we have a week of only Hispanic people, 1,200 people in a week. That's the biggest Hispanic camp in America. And English YFN, it has 1,200 kids for 5 weeks. So it's a crazy week for youth. So I was able to coordinate that camp. Then the director asked me to be a dean of students on Christ for the Nations. During that time, I started preaching. People start calling me. I don't know how. I never put, an advertisement for me. I never put anything. It just God started opening doors, here and there, and I become a preacher. Now I have the have the privilege to be able to travel Mexico, travel in Colombia, travel to Salvador, travel to different places in America just to preach. Preach to leaders, preach to pastors, preach to my local church. So I'm being blessed, and that's what I do now. I just share the word of God.
That's awesome. And coming from how no one ever, but did you ever imagine the way you were then and now?
No, to be honest, I never thought I would live. I would never thought I would experience to be 26 years old. I thought I would be dying at 25 years old, 24 years old, because I had a crazy life. I mean, I was the guy who I wasn't afraid to shoot people. I was not afraid. We were in the corner smoking. If we saw somebody we didn't know, we start shooting. So I thought, well, I'll be in jail, well, I'll be dead. So I never thought I'd get back to Jesus. I never thought that, you know. So yeah, crazy.
That's man, that's an amazing story. I always give the opportunity to my guests and my speakers to share their hearts for the ones that are listening and the ones that are viewing when it comes out, when it launches. And if it's somebody that's caught up in gangs, or they're caught up in drugs, or they're caught up in the occult, or caught up in some dark stuff, what word can you give them? What words of encouragement, what words of faith of God can you give them to step through that darkness, step through that drug?
Man, I mean, to whoever is on occultism, whoever is doing dark magic, dark religious, you know, playing with the dark, I know you get powers. I know you get powers. I know you do crazy stuff. You see crazy stuff, and sometimes you feel super powerful, but you know you're under the spirits. You're not free. But we know when we're doing that, we know satanic occultizers, santeros, brujeria. We know black magic. We know there's a stronger power. That stronger power is Jesus Christ. There is no stronger power than Jesus. And they know it, and I knew it on that time. It just, we are blind. We don't know how to get there. But if we only talk to God, man, He will deliver us from that. Being an occultizer is hard. I mean, you have to have sex with animals. You have to kill animals. You have to have hard rituals. It's not fun. The powers, they what you do is not worth it for the powers you get. You know, so just to that, they know, and we know there's a stronger power, and that's Jesus Christ. For gang members, it's crazy because gang members, for some reasons, every time they do believe in God, but us like, oh yeah, God, that God over there, not as a close God. They know that God is real. That makes sense. So to any gang member, they know we're stupid. We're just stupid. We're not fighting for something big. Our corner is not our corner. Our neighborhood is not our neighborhood. The money we're gonna get, somebody else will shoot us later. If we get a corner, if we do a good mission, somebody else could be with more guns, more manpower, they will kill us. The only thing I say to anybody is give a minute to God. Just a minute. Talk to God. That's it. I'm not saying go to church. I'm not saying go to a pastor. Just give a minute to God. Just talk to God. Hey, I'm bored of this life. Hey, God, I want to change. Hey, God, what am I doing with my life? In that minute, I know God will change anybody's life. You know, that's what happened to me. That's what happened to my friends who tried to kill me after I quit of the Latin Kings. It will happen to them. That I mean, I'm totally sure that God works. Oh, the power of God is so crazy when He found us in the worst time of our lives. That's when we can see the power of God. You know, God found me in the worst of the worst, with guns, shooting at the air, doing drugs, with gang members in the back, just robbing a car. On that same night, God found me. You know, so that's what I'm saying. Just a minute to God. That's it. It will change their life. It will change the perspective of what they're doing, which is really important.
Definitely. Now, if the ones that are listening and viewing, if they want to seek more, where can they find you and some of your work? You know, just to get a little more of your story that you might have shared today.
I mean, yeah, they can go to my Instagram, or they can go to my church Instagram, where they put all the ministry that, you know, that God is allowing me to do. On my Instagram, I really don't put pictures of ministry. I feel weird putting a picture of me preaching or putting a picture of me on a conference. I feel super weird. I don't like pictures and stuff like that. I feel that it's weird. But the page of my church, they put, you know, some messages when I preach in Mexico, some messages when I preach here or different places. And it's Cosecha Final Houston. I mean, I know it's weird, kind of hard to, if you're American, it's kind of hard to get it, but it's Cosecha Final Houston. That's where you guys can find all the information about me and stuff like that. It's my local church.
I'll be sure to share your page and your stuff on the links.
Yeah.
Is there before we call it, you know, an episode, is there anything you would like to say?
I mean, thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me. God is amazing. I mean, if God changed my life from occultism, from drugs, from alcoholic, from shooting people, from gang member, from doing the occultism, from hating God, from hating my mom, from hating my life, from shooting and destroying people's life. If God can do it with me, meant that I was really dumb. How they cannot do it with anybody else? So yeah, God is amazing.
That is good.
God is good.
Oh yeah, man. He's always on time, and he always gets you when you least expect it. You know what I mean?
I mean, he got me a night before I got killed. That, and they got people. I mean, somebody sent people to kill me, and those people got saved. How crazy is God? How crazy is that? The same people try to kill me, they got saved. That is insane.
That's only through the power of blood and the power of Jesus, and that can do that.
That's the power. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Well, those that are listening, take it to heart. We encourage you to give your life to God. Give him a chance. There's nothing he can do. If you have a story or testimony you would like to share, go and hit me up from the dust podcast at outlook.com. That's from the dust podcast at outlook.com.
Behold, all things become new.
Stories even told and voices need to be heard from the dust podcast. Be blessed.